Hey Professor Riley, it's Bria here, just doing my History as a Social Studies Learner reflection, and I guess my love for social studies started when I was in elementary school. I don't really remember the primary grades as much. I don't remember really anything really. I'm sure there was like things dressing up here and there, but I don't remember much of what we did when it comes in terms of social studies during the primary years. But in the intermediate years, I remember social studies so well. I remember we did a play about Lewis and Clark. It was like a musical. And I was so into theater and I was so into musicals that I wanted to be Sacagawea. And it was like a whole play centered around like the Lewis and Clark expedition. And I wanted to be Sacagawea, but I didn't get the part. And I was so mad, but I was still like in the, and I guess that was integrating too. I think we integrated like a way of integrating like theater and music with social studies. So that was really interesting. But I got to be in the ensemble, and I learned so much about Lewis and Clark that I probably would not have learned in a classroom. So it was such a unique experience. My music teacher was fabulous at that. She was always doing stuff with the school that helps us to learn even better. So I think I really started to love social studies then, and maybe why I like social studies so much was because we went on so many field trips. I remember we went to Williamsburg, we went to St. Mary's City, we went to Annapolis, we went to Lancaster, and I just remember like you could only go on these field trips like certain times of the year. So depending on what grade you were in, so it was like really a big deal when you got into third grade and got to go to St. Mary's City. It's also a big deal in third grade. I remember I wanted to be somebody else. I don't know who I wanted to be, but I didn't want to be Pocahontas. And my mom made me be Pocahontas because my sister was Pocahontas, and she didn't want to waste her costume. But I was so excited to do the Wax Museum, and just because I've seen my sister do it, and it's just so interesting, and I just love working on one person and getting to know them better. When it came to middle school, I honestly cannot tell like anything that I learned in middle school. It was kind of like a blur. But I do remember reading Anne Frank, and I was just so interested in that, and my interest for that continued till high school because we did a play on Anne Frank, and even though I wasn't in it, I absolutely was so interested in her story. Like, personally, I just loved that story, and I think that was a real personal connection for me. In high school, I ended up actually hating anything to do with social studies. I just remember we had to take a U.S. government class freshman year, and it was so pointless to me, and I hated it. I learned nothing. I actually just, it was so boring. Like, he gave us papers, and we just sat there. And I just had to take notes on nothing. And I took, like, an AP World History or, like, a U.S. History or something. And I just remember distinctly having to sit in class. And it would just be, like, sheets of notes or, like, just questions on a piece of paper. And I remember distinctly one time we just got a book, and literally that's all we did all class was took a textbook, read through it to find the answers in the textbook. And that was so boring to me, and that's when I think I started to, like, not like social studies. I was like, this is so boring. And I had such a strong personal connection to social studies. My mom loves social studies. She's obsessed with it. Anything, like, she can recall historical facts at, like, the drop of a hat when it comes to social studies. And my family always goes to so many historical places. We always go to Gettysburg. We always go to, like, all these battlefields, anywhere we can go. It gets a little old after a while, but my mom loves it. She doesn't even need to read the stuff in the museums when we're at Gettysburg or the battlefield. Or the battlefield or anything like that. She could literally tell us the information and reiterate it. Funny thing that happened in elementary school, now that I think of it, that ties into like my family, is in elementary school in 5th grade there was the 2004 election, and it was like the Bush and Kerry election, and I remember it distinctly because my family wanted John Kerry to win, and there was like only one other person in my 5th grade class who family actually wanted Kerry to win. I guess our teacher was like playing the election and everything, so we were like so really interested in it. And I think that's when I also learned like when Democrats and Republicans, like the difference between them two. And I learned like that a Democrat is a donkey and a Republican is represented by an elephant. So, like the day when we were going to find out who won, me and this girl, because she was the only other one whose family wanted Kerry to win, we like kind of stuck together. We were like crossing our fingers when the election was about to come on. And that day, I carried like a little plastic donkey to school for like good luck, and everybody made fun of me after that. They're like, "Why'd you do that?" I was like, "Because I wanted John Kerry to win." But it was just funny how the love was so strong for that, and I was so interested in that, just simply from my teacher, you know, putting it on the TV and making us interested in it. I just really want to, you know, I've been surrounded by social studies my whole life. I really loved it in elementary school, and it's really a shame that I like kind of lost touch with it. I mean, in college, I really started to like it again because I had a great history teacher. I had to take History 146 for the program. I had a great history teacher, and I really was interested in it. But just the middle school and high school years where it was just so boring to me, just really, you know, kind of put it, I guess, down in a sense for me. So I just want to get out of this class. I want to love social studies again. I mean, my mother loves it. I mean, the battlefields, I'd rather go somewhere else. But my mom loves social studies. I just want to gain that love for it again. And also, I feel like since I haven't learned a lot of social studies context since, I don't know, like elementary school, I would want to gain a more understanding of like the timeline of events that happened in history, and like just become familiar with the content again. And I can't wait to see what I get out of this class.